Now, you guys are probably aware of Max Miller. He's an Ohio Republican, and I've talked about him because he had the audacity to attack Rashida Tlaib, if I'm recalling correctly. And when I found out about his background, I could not believe it. And at this point, this was a couple months ago, not a lot of people were talking about Max Miller. I don't know if you guys remember this, but basically, shit. I wonder if there was like, if anyone can find when I first like found out about Max Miller's background, and I tweeted about it and shit too. But like, it was Max Miller is a Republican from Ohio, and he was like saying something unhinged about Rashida Tlaib. I think he was like calling her a terrorist or something. And we looked into his background. Was it June 4th? Oh yeah, here it is. Representative Max Miller of Ohio faces domestic abuse allegations from his ex-wife Emily Moreno, who claims he threw steaming hot water at her chest during a June 2024 argument. Miller filed a defamation lawsuit against Moreno, but an audio leak was later submitted to the court in which the congressman appears to admit the scalding incident. And I couldn't believe it, right? I mean, it's the most believable story in some respects because it's obviously a Republican, you know, it's the most believable story, but it's also still unbelievable because, you know, you just don't expect the additional, you don't expect the extra craziness in the story. So Max Miller threw scalding hot water on his ex-wife's face. He has been unbelievably abusive. But what was even more insane about this story was the fact that the ex-wife was actually the daughter of Ohio Senate Republican Bernie Moreno. And the reason why I thought that was psychotic is because the fucking Republican wasn't saying anything. Bernie Moreno had not said a damn thing about Max Miller. Meanwhile, Max Miller had broken the collarbone of Bernie Moreno's 2-year-old granddaughter, Max Miller's daughter. He did this to his own daughter. He is a complete psychopath. To make matters worse, before Democrats made this a big issue, he was kind of getting away with it. So just remember that, because at the time I was like, wow, these guys, Democrats are really just not covering this. It's kind of strange. And we raised the alarms a little bit, like not just in this community, but other people were also like, what the fuck? Why are the Democrats like hyper focusing on the Abdul al-Sayed race or whatever and claiming that Abdul is misogynistic when you got Max Miller right here, who is just a straight up demon. Like he's actually a demonic person, right? So the Democrats started actually making a big fuss about it, and people started pressuring Bernie Moreno as well to say something. But there was one person, one brave truth teller, who actually knew what was going on all the way back in 2020. His name, you might remember, George Santos.
You, sir, are a crook. I know I should direct my comments to the chair. I yield back.
My colleague wants to come up here, call me a crook. Same colleague who's accused of being a woman beater. Are we really going to ignore the facts that we all have passed and we all have the media coming out against us on a daily basis? I can go and read about all my colleagues. I'm not going to stand here to smear them. I'm not going to stand here and use the time I have to say ill things about my colleagues. I refuse to stoop to that level.
You, sir.
So here's the thing. Why did I bring this up? I brought this up because a lot of these guys are criminals, like straight up criminals, okay? And they all know of the crimes of one another, and they just simply keep quiet about it. And I think that's part of the reason why Congress operates the way that it does. Someone who has done crimes is easier to blackmail, because this was many years ago. It's been 3 years, and we only found out about it. It blows my fucking mind. I would have never found out about this if Max Miller had not come out against Rashida Tlaib, saying Rashida Tlaib is a supporter of Hezbollah. It's actually incredible. The standard for conduct on the Democratic side versus the Republican side is so unbelievably out of whack. And I genuinely think a part of this, the media is so hyper focused on left bashing rather than looking to their right and uncovering these abuse allegations that are a dime a dozen on the Republican Party side. Now, Max Miller is not dropping out. He's pulling the Trump route. He's saying, no, it's fine. They deserved it. They're lying. And the story has gotten even crazier.
Max Miller says he is staying in his re-election race despite heavy pressure to step aside over claims of domestic abuse. The House Ethics Committee launched an investigation Tuesday. Miller says he has nothing to hide. Caitlin Huey-Burns has more on the allegations and the high stakes for Republicans.
All they're trying to do is create rumor mills without evidence.
Ohio Congressman Max Miller remained defiant Tuesday despite growing unease inside his own party over domestic abuse allegations.
For no second am I going to sit here and continue to be debased by false and baseless allegations and be pushed out of his seat I have worked so hard to represent.
U.S. officials tell CBS News that even President Trump has privately expressed hope that his former aide drops out. Speaking to CNN, Miller confirmed Trump voiced his concern directly to him Monday night.
He said, I don't know if you're going to be able to, pull this one out. And you know what, Jake? I reminded him of the same resilience that he had when people told him that he was going to struggle in 2016 and he became the 45th president of the United States.
But Trump had this to say last night. The congressman's ex-wife, Emily Moreno, the daughter of Ohio Republican Senator Bernie Moreno, has accused Miller in court filings of abusing her and alleged Miller caused their 2-year-old daughter to break her collarbone, all of which Miller denies. Moreno's lawyer on Tuesday also accused Miller of including a sensitive private photo of his daughter in a trove of documents he released over the weekend in an effort to defend himself. Miller's lawyer took responsibility, saying it was completely unintentional and a mistake.
My daughter lives in constant fear of this man.
Senator Moreno, who has called for Miller to
He's gay, by the way, in the closet, of course, but that's another part of the story.
resign, said he personally picked up his granddaughter on Sunday from the congressman.
She has a little blue bunny that she sleeps with. Max would not hand over the little blue bunny.
Remember the big honkers of the husband, Kirsty Noem? Remember that? Kirsty Noem's husband with his bazongas, dude, with the bazookas? They all have like crazy fetishes. I mean, look, I don't care necessarily. I mean, I think it's strange, right? Like I do, I'll be honest, like I find it a little odd, but like I don't care. Have fun, right? Have fun with the bazookas, right? Like indulge. If it's exciting for you, it's great. It's just like it's the hypocrisy of being this supposedly straight and narrow person that's like constantly telling people that they should be criminalized for being queer, while you also have unorthodox tastes, right? Like that's what's frustrating to me. You present yourselves as like a straight and narrow Christian nationalist, and it's like you're in your private life, it's kinks galore, Yeah, like Lindsey Graham, exactly. Like there's nothing wrong with being gay. There is, however, something wrong with being homophobic, and it's also extra fucked up when you're a gay homophobe, and not like in a funny way. You know what I mean, right? Like when you're advancing policies that are harmful for queer people while literally getting your back blown out by queer sex workers, like that's a little ridiculous. No, Max Miller has been a demonic entity that has been like abusive to not just one Republican woman. It's not just Emily Moreno, Bernie Moreno's daughter, but even Stephanie Grisham was the other Republican he abused. So like people have known about it and they've actually complained about it, but I guess it's still, these guys are so unbelievably loyal to the party that they just kind of brush it under the rug. Yeah, Bernie Moreno was caught on Grindr, I believe. Ohio Republican candidate's ex-intern says adult site post was a prank. Bernie Moreno, a hardline LGBTQ opponent running to face Sherrod Brown, seemed to seek men for one-on-one sex in 2008 profile. It's a known secret that Bernie Moreno is gay. Bernie Moreno used to be pro-LGBTQ, ironically enough. And then he became anti-LGBTQ when he became a Trumpian Republican to run for office. And then when he did that, of course, he can't like come out as gay at that point, right? Yeah, bro used to be for the gays, but now he's anti-gay, but he's still gay. So I guess that's just where we're at with the stories. Is so unbelievable.
Really held it hostage for 48 hours.
Miller pushed back.
If that were true, that would be incredibly disturbing and that the senator would be right.
Now, so far, House Republican leaders appear to be standing by Miller. In a new interview with Politico, House Speaker Mike Johnson said that while these allegations are serious, he wants that House ethics investigation, which just launched yesterday, to run its course. Michelle?
All right, Caitlin, thank you. So, Congressman, let's start there with your former father-in-law's story today about your daughter and the little blue bunny doll that she cannot sleep without. If it's true, that sounds like emotionally abusive behavior toward a toddler to refuse to give it to her when she can't sleep without it.
Jake, I would agree that if that were true, that would be incredibly disturbing and that the senator...
He's like, it's my blue bunny. I bought it. I like it. My stupid-ass 2-year-old daughter doesn't deserve the bunny, Jake.
...would be right. However, he has taken 2 years to publicly acknowledge for me to resign from my seat. Why is that, Jake? If he truly believed, like, I'm a father to a 2.5-year-old daughter, I believe that you're also a father to children. And I don't know if you're actually a father to a daughter. But what I can tell you is, well, Jake, then what I can tell you is that if my...
You know how daughters are, Jake. Sometimes you break their fucking collarbone. Psycho! He doesn't even deny it, by the way. He's not even denying it. He's not even denying the bunny situation.
Daughter came to me and she said, my ex-husband did X, Y, and Z. And then I waited because I was nervous that a political live stream was going to expose a deeply impersonal, embarrassing matter to the senator for him to take that action.
Yeah, he's also right here saying, like, he had to reveal it because he got blackmailed by someone else that he's gay. New, regarding claims that the Representative Max Miller withheld his toddler's blue bunny, I have some new screenshots suggesting there was a pattern of Miller not giving the bunny back. There were pleas from multiple people on multiple dates. In this screenshot from an unknown date, the parenting coordinator of Miller and Moreno seems to say Miller adamantly refused to give the bunny back. I'm not coddling him. I advised him to let your dad get the bunny preferably from the mailbox, but he adamantly refuses. But I've suggested you keep the bunny at your house to avoid these situations because unfortunately in a high conflict divorce, these situations blow up often. In this screenshot of an email, Emily Moreno begged Miller for the blue bunny. Can Blee please have her bunny back? She's had it since birth, sleeps with it every night, carries it with her around the house, and sees it as a source of comfort. You always delivered it back to me when you drop her off. Please don't punish her if you're upset with me. I'm willing to pick it up from your house, your mailbox. You can drop it in my mailbox, please. Pam, for no apparent reason, Max is not returning Bleep's blue bunny to Emily. Dr. Korike tried to get the blue bunny back. Dr. K made it clear that despite her recommendation, the blue bunny stays with Emily. Max refused to return it. Why must this be a controversy? This is totally ridiculous. Please have Max return the blue bunny forthwith. Thank you, Andrew. This man is an actual psychopath. And what's even crazier about it is that there are more Republicans like him out there, and the Republican Party defended it for years. Judging by George Santos' revelation that he's a woman beater, people knew about this. People were aware of it. He was doing this to the daughter of another prominent Republican. It's an open secret. You can go to the parent coordinator. I'm sure I'll see this one at the next hearing. If you need anything, have Emily call Dr. Korike. I have no notes or record of what you're referring to. It's the blue bunny she sleeps with, but got it. This was Max Miller's initial video statement, by the way, which was also crazy.
My wife has claimed that during a custody exchange at my home that day, I assaulted her. Here's what actually happened, and I have the Ring doorbell footage that backs it up. She came to my home in a good mood, and we have text messages to prove it, which you'll have, to pick up our daughter early for a friend's birthday party. She was inside my house for several minutes when she left. The video shows her walking out, carrying our daughter calm, in the same good mood, showing no distress whatsoever. And as they left, you can hear me say, "Goodbye, I love you, and I love you, Ruthie," literally telling my ex-wife that I still cared for her. Does that sound like somebody who would just walk out and who had been violently thrown a wall and been abused? She didn't call the police after that. She didn't go to the hospital, ladies and gentlemen. Do you want to know what she did? She went straight to a child's birthday party. The very next day, we had a friendly phone call about our daughter's upcoming hospital procedure, and I drove in from Washington to be there for it. 6 days later, she offered to cook empanadas for me for dinner, just 2 days later after this alleged incident.
This is a common tactic of abusers to claim that there was continued contact after engaging in the act of abuse with the victim, to claim that there was no abuse that took place at all. Victim blaming and then saying, well, you know, guess what? The victim still hung out with me. It's a super, super common tactic. Textbook. This is one of the more insane stories. It's like such an open and shut case. I mean, it does, even the blue bunny situation kind of makes sense when you realize this guy's like a fucking narcissistic sociopath.
The day after that, she invited me and my girlfriend, and which you'll have in text messages, to join her and our daughter at a playground. And that day, I just went with my former wife to the playground to spend time with our daughter. A week later, on February 15th, she wrote to me in her own words, which you will see, "I think it's great you and I are in a friendlier place." She then offered me more extra overnights with our daughter, which I can prove to every single one of you is recently. Every one of these messages is time-stamped on our court-sanctioned co-parenting app and is all in the packet. Only weeks later did the story of February 1st assault appear, so ask yourself, if I had assaulted her, would she have offered to cook me dinner 6 days later? Would she have invited me to spend an afternoon at the playground with her and our daughter? Would she have written that we were in a friendlier place? No, she wouldn't have, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, the answer is yes, by the way. It's very common with abuse victims, actually, to continue trying to not rock the boat. Anyway, but it was so flagrant, it was so clear-cut, definitionally an abusive relationship that everyone immediately was like, this is dog shit, brother. You are a fucking psycho. I mean, I guess this helps him in Ohio, if I'm being honest, like, or not in Ohio necessarily, but just like with Republicans, you know, victim of divorce court. And I think he's banking on that. I'm not even kidding. He's not dropping out. Now that there's a Senate Ethics Committee investigation being launched after years, by the way, they knew about this for years, but only now they're launching an ethics committee because normally in the Senate, the way these things go, when shit like this happens, they just brush it under the rug. But if it becomes like a bigger problem, if someone is like, if one of the victims is actually like a staffer and then that staffer's new boss gets frustrated enough to fuss about it, then they'll do an ethics committee and basically, or not Senate. Do I say Senate? I apologize. House. Bernie Moreno's in the Senate. This is a House Ethics Committee violation. So, and there's a House Ethics Committee investigation. So what normally happens is the jurisdiction of a House Ethics Committee or a Senate Ethics Committee investigation is just for the duration of your tenure. So usually it's not, first of all, it's not a criminal investigation at all. I know it sounds criminal because it's official, but it's not. And the whole purpose of it is to basically force the person in that seat to resign, because once they resign, the investigation ends. So it's a way to basically bully someone who's done something criminal in many instances to just resign from the seat because they don't want to disgrace themselves. They don't want to disgrace their family. However, in this day and age, in the Trumpian age, it's almost like a fucking superpower if you choose to say, no, I'm going to continue running. And that's precisely what this guy is doing. One of the examples that I can remember is there were two. There was one Republican and one Democrat. So the Democrats and Republicans got together and basically were like, we're going to do a dual investigation so that the balance of the House doesn't favor one side over the other. Like, it's a very shameless process. So I understand that like Democrats kind of are involved in it as well, where the only time someone actually fucking resigns is if they're like, if there's like a real heinous situation, or if there's also another, like if there's also a Democrat that you can also get on an ethics violation. So it's almost like a prisoner exchange. Isn't that wild? So the scandals cancel each other out. Yeah, it was Swalwell for Gonzalez, I believe. That was the way that this was conducted last time. So very gross. Notice how no one has talked about how he put a gun to her head and dumped boiling water on her. That's just how fucking depraved this dude is. Yeah, there's so much depraved shit in his background that it's like hard to keep track of all of it. Now, of course, Miller's opponent is Brian Poindexter, who has been endorsed by Bernard as well. He's a father, union iron worker, Brook Park City Councilman, running for Congress because working people deserve real representation, not empty promises. So there's that, right? He was endorsed by Bernard, right? Brian Poindexter was, I'm pretty sure. So, you know, there's a light at the end of that tunnel at least. But like I said, kind of shows you how depraved these people are. Kind of shows you how depraved these Republicans are. And it also kind of shows you how depraved, Max Miller is the incumbent. He's at 33% according to this coefficient poll that just came out. Like, I think everyone involved in this story, with the exception of the victims, are demonic. Like, I think Bernie Moreno is a psychopath for putting his Republican career ahead of his own daughter's abuse and ahead of his own granddaughter's abuse in the hands of a Republican representative. Bernie Moreno kept quiet, knowing full well what was going on for years, because he's an into-closet homosexual man and he was being blackmailed by Max Miller, and also because he didn't want to rock the boat. That's how little these guys care. And the reality of the matter is, if you don't care about your immediate family members, if you don't even care about your immediate family members like this, if you don't care about your own daughter, if you don't care about your 2-year-old granddaughter, how can we expect them to care about the American citizens that they're supposed to fucking represent? It's psychotic. How can I expect you to care about a community? And they don't. This, to me, is the perfect Republican story that absolutely captures their immoral nature, their depravity, their cold, calculated attitude, their party loyalty that they demonstrate above all else. This is supposed to be the family values party. They're psychopaths. They're complete and utter psychopaths. That's it. Anyway, this is one of the million different reasons as to why I have a no quarters approach to Republicans in general, and certainly their collaborators as well. You cannot collaborate with these demons. That's why I get so frustrated when Democrats try to coalesce around Republicans or use Republican talking points and attack lines against their left flank. I think it's completely unacceptable.